The KeysDAN Show. It's the KeysDAN Show. I need a new theme for the KeysDAN Show. You might hear news. You might learn stuff. You never know what you're going to get on the KeysDAN Show. Whoa, 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 whoa. What's up, party people? It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast, The KeysDAN Show. It's my weekly roundup show at 6 p.m. Central Time. I record it live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Periscope, LinkedIn. I don't know why, but I put it all out there. You know, it's my weekly roundup, and I invite you, yes, you, to be a part of the show. You can call me at 501-470-6386 and be a part of it all. Tell me what you're up to these days, right here, right now. It's KeysDAN with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. You know, the Radio What Studios, it's part of RadioWhat.com, the internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. A lot of new artists and bands have been sending me their songs and their tunes and such, you know, letting me know the new stuff that they've been working on. It's during these quarantine times, as I record this, the creatives have really been learning how to create, and that's pretty cool. You know, you got to expand your mind, find new ways. The human existence will prevail through thick and through thin, no matter what they're telling us, no matter what we're being told. I guess let's start off with some good news. I had Wyatt Paulie, formerly of Lanier, that's spelled like linear. The band is called Lanier, but they spell it like linear. He gave me a pretty cool story when he was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago of how Lanier came to be the name of the band. If you care to know what that is, you can listen to the podcast. How about that? I won't divulge it. No spoiler alerts. So please, if you want, you can listen to the What Makes You Famous podcast, hashtag What Makes You Famous. That's where I interview people. You can hear the stories of others, or you can even tell your own story. You can also give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com, and we will set up a time to have your story told. You can promote yourself, tell the people how you came to be who you are. Let me pick your brain a little bit, because everybody has knowledge to impart. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's start off with some mail. I got a mail call. I'm not going to divulge the mailing address of either of us just yet, but you know, I got some mail. It's a CD mailer. So could it be a CD from Wyatt Paulie? Now, he's formerly from Lanier, but he also has a new band, a new project out called the Paulie Lane Band. Look that up. You'll find it. The music is a whole lot different than it was in Lanier. Lanier was a lot of freestyle, Latin freestyle, you know, like the Miami-based stuff that I'm used to when I was growing up. You know, a lot of dance music, but with Latin beats to it, a lot of drums and such. And yes, it is, in fact, a CD. It is a CD from the Paulie Lane Band, an actual CD. I don't have a lot of these. I think I have a CD player somewhere, and I guess everyone who has a CD-ROM in their computer still has a CD player. So, yeah, I got the Paulie Lane Band's CD. He's got, let's see, there's 11 songs on here. Number one is Radio Song. That's an edit. It says edit. Number two is Last Time. Number three is California Honey. Number four is Checkout Time. Number five is Poison. Number six is I Want the Heartache. Number seven is Heavy. Number eight is Reggae de Blanc featuring Snooky Blaze. And number nine is You Have to Pay for This. You have to pay for this. Do I have to pay for this? And then number 10 is Radio Song Full Mix. And number 11, the last song on the Paulie Lane Band Out of Necessity record, is Rachel. All right. I have to digitize these things. and put them on radiowhat.com. That little station there that's sitting behind me, that computer back there that's playing all the music. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Paulie Lane Band, Wyatt Paulie. Find him on the podcast. And check out the video. I thought that was pretty cool. I will give you a spoiler on the video. We were Skyping in, and I had him where I have the scroll going through right now. And whenever I do a podcast, I'll try to get video of them, especially if I can, if they have good internet capability, I'll get them on Skype and I'll pop them right in on that little window next to me. And for those that are listening to the audio version of this, I encourage you to check out the video version, youtube.com youtube.com/user/KeysDAN, or you can just look up radiowhat.com on YouTube, and I think it'll pop up. The banner is radiowhat.com, and that makes it pretty easy. But going back to the podcast that I've been doing, and I not only do an audio version, but I'm doing video versions as well, and I'm trying to get more exposure for the people. Well, I tried to get Wyatt Paulie on there, and his video for some reason just stayed green. I told him, "Hey man, do you have a light that you could turn on?" He turned on a light. It was even brighter green. So that was a lot of fun. Looking at a green Wyatt Paulie. So, but yes, thank you so much, Wyatt Paulie, for sending me this video. I appreciate it so much. And also, if you are out there watching this on my main KeysDAN page, my personal KeysDAN page, you can send me some comments. I see Lisa Irvin already put a like on there. I appreciate that. My dear friend Lisa Irvin. She's out there. I guess she's still in Florida. Man, I'm sometimes I miss Florida. As you can see, if you're watching the video, once again, I'm wearing my Hawaiian shirt, my Hilo Hattie. I got 20 of them down in a mall down in Florida. They had a Hilo Hattie store, and this is a store that sells shirts from Oahu, where Hilo Hattie is based. And if you see the background, I got a bunch of fishies there. I think that's from some aquarium. I'm not sure which aquarium, but it's from some aquarium that, let's see. I think I could find the aquarium that it was from. It is from a Georgia Aquarium is the video that's in the background there. Bunch of little fishies going by. That's pretty cool. I like you a lot. Well, I'm recording this on Sunday, August 2nd, 2020, my little time capsule. And like I said, I invite you to call in and give me an idea of what you're up to. If you don't want to do a whole podcast, of which I have quite a few set up for this week, I think I have at least 3, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm stoked about that. But if you don't want to do a whole hour podcast, you can come in and just, give me 5 minutes of your time. Let me know what you're up to. If you're a small business or somebody that's struggling in this time, maybe your business has completely shut down. I hurt for you. I feel for you. Maybe you're the essential business that's been, or the essential people that's been working 5-6 days a week. I feel you. I feel you hard, or you've been one that's been laid off and had that extra $600 a week coming in and kind of helping you to keep afloat. And now that money is gone, whatever side of the fence you're on, whatever side of the political spectrum you're on, whether you feel that $600 was overkill, overspent, people are making more money sitting at home, which may or may not be the truth. A lot of people don't make $600 a week. That could be just, I don't know. Is that middle class? Making about $600 a week. I think that might be middle class. One half of a middle class. If there's a dual income family and you're both making $600 a week, that might put you right in the middle class. I don't know what the middle class is really. I'm a moron, but I think you'd be living pretty well as long as you live simply enough. I think I could probably get by on $600 a week. Yeah. But, a lot of some of the Congress feels, mostly the people on the left feel that $600 a week is necessary for people to survive. And then the people on the right are thinking that that's too much. It's making people avoid going back to work. But and then there's that little thing called childcare. What are you going to do with the children's once you go back to work? You don't have that money coming in, but the kids need to go somewhere, and a lot of the daycares are closed down, and you don't want to leave the kids with grandma and pop because you don't want to get them sick. That's probably my worst fear, is getting somebody else sick. I'm not worried that I'm going to get sick from the novel COVID-19 coronavirus. I think I stay pretty active, even as fat as I am. But I don't feel like it's going to harm me too much. I may already have had it. Who knows, man? Every time you make a cough these days, every time somebody coughs next to you, oh my goodness, I think they might have the COVID. Let's get a little further away than 6 feet. I think I'm rambling, but these are thoughts that are on my head right now, and I'm guessing they got to be on somebody else's mind because the same way that I program RadioWhat.com, I program all the music that I like to hear, and I figure if I like it, somebody else is going to like it, and I feel like we're more alike than we think. That we're more alike than different. People say, "Oh, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, I'm on the left, I'm on the right, I'm a libertarian." They have different ideas. I'm independent. But most people are right down the middle. So I feel like most people have very similar ideas. If we just talked it out, we'd figure out that, hey, all right. And then I got Joseph Locastro out there, man, my favorite medium. He's back. He is out there, man. I had a whole podcast with Joseph Locastro, and I learned a lot of things. In fact, I've been on his show as well. What was it? The Millennial Mind? Is that what it is? The Mind of the Millennial? Anyway, if you want to call in, 501-470-6386, we'll let you promote your own show. There you go. How about that? But no, I do this at 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Sunday nights. And I just kind of, it's a mental purging of my thoughts of what's going on in the world today, what's going on in my personal life. Everybody, you can worry about your own personal world, your personal bubble, as my family likes to call it, the bubble. Every time I come in the door, hey, welcome to the bubble. But I was talking about the music that I like and the thoughts that I'm thinking. Most people, if you talk to them, they want the same things. They just go at them in a different way. It's interesting to me. It really is. I've had lots of chats with people that I thought, well, I think we're going to have some conflicting views. And it turns out we end up right along the same path. And there's even people that have changed my views listening to their ideas, that have changed the way that I think, or have given me better insights onto why people think the way they think. Why shouldn't we have all these programs where people get what some people would think is free money? Hey, free money, go get it. You're hurt. You feel like you don't want to go to work. Here, have some free money. Well, there's reasons for it. And, some people will argue reasons for it. Some people that are smart, way smarter than me, will argue reasons for it, and then some will argue reasons against it. Giving away all this money. Yeah, the one. Let's see. Oh my goodness, I can't even remember his name now, but I know that I will remember it as soon as this podcast is over. But I was listening to a podcast with him, and he was talking about, back when Grandpa was going to school and he needed extra money to pay for school, he would get a part-time job, pay for school, and college. This is college, pay for college. And then by the time he got out of college, no debt. But then the government started subsidizing college in about, in the late 50s, early 60s, and saying, hey, you know what, we'll give you a loan so you don't have to go to work and you can just concentrate on your studies. Well, on first glance, that sounds pretty good. Oh, the kid could just pay attention to his studies, and by the time he gets out of college, he'll have a college degree, but he'll have a lot of debt because we gave him all these loans. And then the colleges will, and I'm paraphrasing all this, but this is how I know it. If you have any other ideas, hey, you can come on and talk to me about them. But once the government starts subsidizing your colleges, then then your colleges start saying, well, if the government is subsidizing, we could jack our prices up. Huh? How about that? Oh, somebody calling in from New York. I will put them on. KeysDAN, you're on the air. Who am I talking to?
It's Joe Locastro. What's up, KeysDAN?
Oh my goodness, Joe Locastro out there, man. What was the name of that podcast you have? Millennial?
A Millennial's Third Eye.
Ah, there you go, man. Well, what's on your mind, dude?
I enjoy watching your lives, man. And you were like, call in. So whatever you want to talk about, because I love having these conversations with you. It's been a while too, right? Yeah. Actually, I'm in New York now. I was in California last time I talked to you.
I know. I see the phone number. It says New York right on it, man. And that's pretty cool. What made you make the jump 3,000 miles?
So honestly, when I went to California, the plan was that I was going to go there, get set up. I was going to stay at my friend's parents' house for a little bit, get my own place. But I was there before COVID happened and everything shut down. I was still grateful. I got to go to Laguna Beach. I got to go to San Diego. I went to California. I mean, like, that's awesome. But just before I came to visit my family and 4th of July, I was trying to figure out, like, what's next for me? And every time I was thinking about the next step, it didn't feel right. It was like, no, it's not it. So I said, you know what? Let me go see my family, and I'll make a decision after that. And I had no idea really was going to stay at home, but I came back. I flew to New York, and then I never left. I stayed home.
Man, and you went from one extreme to the other. And I guess California had their problems during COVID, and New York had their problems, but it looks like New York's lockdown, it seems like it might have solved it. I mean, the rest of the country might have said, wow, New York is very extreme. They kept everybody at home. But I think it might have worked because out of the millions of people that live there, they're up to what, like 700 a day of the viruses, people catching them, something like that. As opposed to California, that's showing spikes, man. It's having some problems. But the job that you do, you can do it from anywhere in the world, really, as long as you had a good internet connection. And man, I'm glad you had a good place to live. Laguna Beach, that's a pretty good beach, man. That's a pretty nice place to live. But your world changed completely. You went from Southern California to the north, where it's going to get cold this winter.
Oh man, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. But no, yeah, I took an opportunity. I've never been to California. I went. I was there for a couple months. Quite honestly, like, I didn't go back to California, and I heard that they shut down California again. So it's kind of frustrating, but I do my best, honestly, with all the numbers and whatnot. I try to not be political, but the main reason is that I like to teach people you can create your own reality. And if you can create your own reality, the news is only going to give you all this other stuff. And if you're going to buy it or feed into it and talk about it, you're allowing the news to give you your own reality, and you're not focusing on your own life. So as much as what we can do right now, so I do my best to just be happy. Honestly, I'm working with my dad part-time. He works with cabinets and kitchen cabinets, and we're resurfacing, we're repainting. People love it. So I do that, and I work on my spiritual stuff. So honestly, if there's anything I could really be appreciative of, like just the common denominator, is I used to overthink so much. What am I going to do with my life? What's going on? Yeah, I have to have this best career, and I have to do the best I can, the chef and all. Now I just go with the flow, and I'm just happy, and I make money, and that's all. That's all.
Joseph Locastro, when we talked, we had a great conversation. I got so many facets from you, because looking on the surface, the broad strokes was the spiritual part of your life, but then I find out you're a cabinet maker, you're a chef. There's so many things. There's so many sides to you, man. There's no way that you are gonna fail. You have so many different avenues to explore. If one thing goes sideways, then hey, you go this direction. Now it's funny because I was looking at your Facebook page, and one of the things I was going to talk about, and something that my wife brought up to me, was the thing about Dr. Emmanuel, where she got pushed to the sidelines. Man, I know she was talking to me. The wife was talking to me Monday or something like that. Whenever this first came out, where Dr. Emmanuel was talking about, hey, hydrochloroquine, and wouldn't it be funny if Donald Trump was right all along? Hydrochloroquine is the way to go, or hydrochloroquine. But I'm reading the article that came out by Katie Grimes from CaliforniaGlobe.com, July 28th, 2020 at 8:18 a.m. And she's talking about the frontline doctors from across the U.S. held a white coat summit in quotes, and they were talking about this hydrochloroquine, and it was led by Dr. Stella Emmanuel from South Africa, I guess somewhere in Africa. But she was talking about she puts hydrochloroquine, zinc, and Zithromax, which is used for like pneumonia and stuff like that, and other problems. Have you read the article?
I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't read the full article, but here's why I shared it.
Yeah.
Even before all this happened, I was going through, they call it a spiritual awakening. I didn't create that name. I can't like copyright that, but I was going through this spiritual awakening, and what I explained to them, people in general, and to make it simple, it's like waking up consciously, and all of a sudden you're getting all this spiritual awareness about life. And I was teaching people what I was receiving. And what I was receiving was that, listen, there's people that need medication, but there is a lot of things that aren't necessarily needed. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of it is shadow working. And I do this one-on-one with people. It's actually therapy too. Therapy-based is also shadow working. And what that is you go deep into the subconscious mind. It's not hypnosis. I mean, you can do that, but it's in the shadow working of the subconscious mind. And this is where all our fears, worries, and doubts, triggers, anything as a child, it comes into our reality today. And so it's like a fracture. We do all these things, but we don't really know why we're doing it. And so when you do that, you can heal subconscious things. And so the reason why I share that is because medicine, and this is also my spiritual and personal opinion, is that medicine is just a pharmaceutical money-making realm, in my opinion. And that to me is, there's a lot of things that we can have the answers to. And especially the reason why I share it is because there's a lot of things working. And if the doctors are talking about it and they're all coming together, why not share this information? Why not use this information? Why not use that instead of worrying about this vaccine? And that's just my opinion. I didn't read the whole article, but I still love sharing things that I can feel associated with.
Yeah, I got through it and I was like, well, I mean, this information, whether you believe it to be factual or not, these are scientists. These are people that went to school for this. And these are ideas that need to be out there to help us to figure out how to combat the COVID-19. I mean, we need all the ammunition that we can to knock this thing down, to use a warlike metaphor. I guess how do I find a love metaphor that will mean the same thing? That we need.
Well, it's actually a really good point. I was just thinking about this, and I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it or wrap it in, but you brought up love.
Yeah,
and this is a true story. This is a great example for what I was talking about with subconscious mind. One of my last jobs before I quit and started pursuing more of my spiritual practices, I was working with my old boss and her mom. My spirit. I work with spirit guides for everyone listening. And so my spirit guides were literally trying to teach me this. And they're like, watch and listen to what she's saying. And she kept coming in every day saying, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. She was going to the doctor. She had cancer before, this lady. And so she's saying it again. The spirit guides were actually telling me, look, she's affirming it. And this is also a sign of lack of self-love. And the power of love is really important. We got to look beyond relationships with the power of love. It's not just like I can only love one person or relationship. No, love for family, love for people, love for humans. So back to the story is that she kept saying that there was something wrong. And there was literally one day, every day was something new, but the next day she literally told customers, every employee, I'm going to the cancer hospital. You know, I felt bad. Of course you did. But my point is this, I didn't know her before, but she did have cancer before. And this is what my spirit guides taught me, is that at one point, the lack of self-love or lack of love in her life, and this is where depression comes in for people. And so what happens? People come to you. I hope you get better. That's a sign of caring and love. So she did make it through that first round. And what Spirit was showing me is like, look, this person is not loving their life. They're sad. They're depressed. So they're affirming it again. And so the topic of love is actually it's a spiritual warfare we're in right now. We're dealing with a fear-based disease and news. And is it real? Yeah, it's real. But we also have the power to control that with fear or not. And so the power of love is a big deal, especially with loving yourself, because if we love one another, if we can show respect for one another, if we have unity with one another, we can just focus on our realities. We really don't need, in my opinion, I like to share that because we don't need it. We don't need this vaccine. We don't need it. We just need to find self-control, self-love, the power that we really embody, which has not been taught to us. And that's a big topic to me. I love this. I love this so much.
Man, you are so insightful. And I encourage everyone to follow you on Facebook and all the social media and even get a reading possibly from Joseph LoCastro.
I appreciate it.
Whether you find it as entertainment or you find it as factual, however you believe, it's certainly you're going to find some things about yourself that you may not have thought of. I think it's the insight, really. But some people would say, "Oh, you're kind of like a detective. You're very insightful." Or, hey, if you hold some credence and have some faith, there is a spirit world. There are other things out there that we don't understand. So you could look at it from both ways, but still, giving a talk to you or someone like you would be beneficial to a lot of people. Someone that could give them that insight, whether it be from a spiritual place or from just within your own mind. And hey, who knows who's leading that mind? Some people have faith that that there's a person or an entity out there that's guiding us all. Many people in the world. So I mean that's that's fantastic, man. But you're talking about some people would be afraid of the vaccines. I went down a rabbit hole about Moderna, which is the one that's the leading company that's developing a vaccine. They're now in phase 3, the final phase of making a vaccine that could help us in this coronavirus. But Moderna, somehow Anthony Fauci is connected to them. And I know I'm giving you just little breadcrumbs of things. And then somehow Moderna started off, previously, it was a German company that made the gas that gassed the Jews back in the war. And then when Germany got broken up, America bought this part and renamed it Moderna. It was George Soros that had it. And I was like, man, I guess I can go down a different rabbit hole, man, because I went down the Dr. Emmanuel rabbit hole when I saw it on your page, and then I started looking into Moderna and how that started, and then somehow I guess with conspiracy theorists you can go anywhere, right? And somehow Bill Gates is involved with it, and if they inject you, it could inject you with this RFI signal. I'm for vaccines and immunization. I don't see it as a terrible thing. I know that in the past with the polio vaccine, it did kill a lot of children because they were the first ones that got the vaccine. But the people figured out that this vaccine was probably more good than harmful. And even though all those lives were lost trying to develop it, they came up with the polio vaccine, and now polio is almost all but like 3 countries it's eradicated. So
there's
go ahead.
There's actually something that blew my mind, and I like this topic because I can combine spiritual and also the political part and the news with you. Is that Sylvia Brown is not someone I actually used to follow or knew too much about, but she was a very famous psychic medium or psychic intuitive, whichever one. She was really well known. She had a book. She passed away, I don't know, a while ago. She had a book of predictions. And one of those predictions was for 2020. She went further out. and it says in 2020 there will be a pandemic. It will go it will disappear as fast as it came in. Almost, it's going to go. It's going to disappear. Not even before. I know a lot of people say Trump's saying it, but she actually said this in the book. However, she did say it's going to come back in 10 years. Do I know that? I don't know, but I found that fascinating. The other thing I want to add to that is I like to look at different perspectives in cycles and cycles and patterns. And these can be 10 years or just not so much in year frames, but not so much alone in the virus, but what's happening before that. And one of the biggest things that, especially at the Culinary Institute of America that I went to for 2 years, they had us watch this documentary. I think it was called Food Inc. I think it was Food Inc. And they did this whole documentary on the corruption of food in the United States. And what was happening was they were trying to develop a seed. You know, if there's plants or trees, apple trees, for example, because I'm right next to an apple tree, they're not supposed to die. They continue to thrive through the season. The next season, they produce more fruit. They were trying to come up with a way to sell farmers a seed that only planted the one fruit for the one season, then it died, and then they had to buy it again. And so what they're trying to, especially with cows, the mad cow disease came about because they were trying to give the cows grain. They weren't supposed to be eating corn. And so the cow developed a stomach issue. And so they gave the cow another injection of something so that the cow can digest it. So it was all a money scheme. And so the reason why I say that is because now we're going into what's happening in the recent times, and there's all this craziness. And they're trying to force fear into people. They're trying to make us wear masks. They're trying to, don't get me wrong, there is some logistics to this, but at the same time, there is this over control of too many things. There's some things that should be natural, and especially within the news, I don't know how you feel about it, but there was all this stuff about how it was created through China and all this other stuff. So what's my point here? My point is I like to observe the whole cycle thing, and the cycle thing was showing me, look, if they're trying to control this, and they're trying to control population, which has been a big topic throughout the years as well, why are we not seeing that layer? Why are we not looking at that?
Man, Joseph LaCastro, there's so much information and disinformation out there. You don't know what to believe sometimes. You're trying to sift through it. And I looked up Sylvia Brown. She was born October 19th, 1936, died November 20th, 2013. Author, claimed to be a medium, psychic abilities. This is all on Wikipedia. You know, you can believe it or not believe it. She was on, Montel Williams, Larry King, all that. And she would predict things. Funny, I'm watching a show called Good Omens, or at least I finished watching the few seasons that are out there on Amazon. And there's one of the subplots is a witch who predicted for about 400 years all these things that came true, and including Apple and such like that. But the predictions. I've been fascinated by that ever since I heard about Nostradamus. I wondered, man, how could there be somebody that could predict future things?
I think there was even like a show. Someone was showing me, like, it was a couple years ago too. They talked about coronavirus. They talked about the cures. And there was like a lot of similarities on what's happening. And this has been like a television show already. So I kind of find it a little weird.
I think it was going back to Bill Gates. I think he's the one that talked about this. We got to prepare for this a pandemic. It's coming soon. Mm-hmm. That was like 5 years ago. I need to look that up too. But he said supposedly he had an interview or some kind of a TED talk that he was given, and he said, "Oh, we got to prepare for a pandemic." And then here, 5 years later, so I guess he was the only one that 5 years ago, when somebody asked, "Hey, what's your 5-year plan?" "Oh, prepare for a pandemic." He was the only one that was right. Everybody else who had a 5-year plan, completely wrong.
Well, we can look at all these things, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people, if they're not control over their emotions, or they don't have control over their own thoughts, and this is something I really teach people because it's really important. They're technically allowing everything else to create their own reality, but most importantly, what's going to mostly happen? They're going to have a lot of fear because it's starting to connect the dots, and they're going, "Oh my God, if this is already known, what's going on. And so fear is an energy. We emit energy, happiness, sadness, fear. But if we're emitting fear, we actually create more fear. If we're sad, we create more sadness. If someone is in the loss of money and they're worried about money, they actually create more lack of money. And it's an interesting thing to learn, because this is why affirmations are important. I am happy. I am successful. You say these things out loud, and then you start to feel it, because it truly does bring in more of what you're emitting and what you're saying. And so this is why it's more important to learn, how do I control myself and my thoughts versus just going with it, watching the news, living in fear, being upset. The other thing I remember, I was listening to you before I called in, the $600 thing you were mentioning. Was it enough? You mentioned, middle class. And I was thinking to myself, it should be a time where, especially for the $1,200 or $600, it's a time where the universe, source, God, spirit is giving you, or government, whatever you want to look at it, is giving you the opportunity to go, look, you're getting a check for unemployment. You have the $1,200 from the government. Use this time to not worry about something, or do your best to think about what it is that you really want to do. Because so many people I come into contact with as clients, they're like, Joe, I just lost my job. We have to see it on a higher scale, not just the 3D world where it's me, you, the job, people, what they say. We have to raise the awareness, which is, okay, so what is the universe trying to give to you? And so when people lose their job, really, it's more so the universe is trying to say, this is not something you wanted to do. You weren't happy there. And so, yeah, some things happen. It's not going to be a happy time, but at the same time, now what do you want to do with this time, this money, and this available opportunity to think or change it up? And a lot of people are also thinking, okay, well, COVID, things are shut down. Yeah, but what can you do right now to take the time to think about and plan that you would like to do next, even though things are closed or maybe the opportunities aren't there yet?
Yeah,
and that's my opinion about that as well.
Yeah, my cousin Charity, she put it out there. You have the $600 a week. It doesn't mean that you get that $600 a week and go sit on your butt. Do something with it, And she said, all the people that had that extra 600, so they're making, plus their regular unemployment, maybe they're making 800 to 1,000 a week, but they're not saving anything. They're going out hiking and playing and going on boat trips, and that wasn't what that money was for. That money was to help you float, help you get by. And if you haven't saved any bit of that money over the course of those, was it almost 3 months that you've been getting that money, man, I think you might have to take some of the fault. And so, getting it is one thing, but what you do with it is another thing. Don't blow it,
There's pros and cons to that. I totally agree with you. Don't just blow it. Don't live carelessly. But at the same time, this is actually pretty cool, KeysDAN. Check this out. When I was actually learning more spiritually, the law of attraction too, with money, I had probably like $30 in my account one day. And I was learning about myself more. What do I love doing? Because what you do that you love will attract more of what you love, especially money. So at a moment, I was like, well, this is true. This is true. I love getting sushi by myself for lunch. It's one of my favorite things. And so I was going to get sushi, and I looked at my account and went, I only have $30. I have enough, but should I not spend it? And the truth is, and this is what I did, spend it. If it's something that makes you happy, go for it. Because when you're happy, it raises your vibration and you get more of what you love. However, this is what a lot of people do. They'll spend it, right? If they're not mindful of this tactic, they'll spend it. They're happy, go on that boat trip, like you said. But what's next is they get sad because, maybe we shouldn't have did that. But that's not the conscious mind. That's not the mindful mind. So therefore, now you're emitting sadness and frustration. Oh, we shouldn't have did that. Oops. And so you're emitting that sadness now, which is going to push away the law of attraction. You're getting the law of attraction and sadness, which is lack of money. So the goal really is to always maintain your happiness. But we still, just like you said, we still have to make plans. What's the end result? What's the progress? What's the direction you're going in? What's your dream? What are you trying to manifest? What I'm saying. So if you're trying to manifest more money or a job opportunity, you still have to raise your vibration. You still have to live in a life where it's not living in the fear of lack of money, but you still have to have that step progress. All right, so where's my opportunity of receiving money coming in? Because a lot of people don't understand. You can raise your vibration at home. You still need to have those opportunities for the money to come to you. I think a lot of people wait on that. Like, hopefully the government takes care of it. I love everyone, but I have this feeling with everyone that you have the potential to do whatever you want. Don't wait on these little opportunities to save you. And they create this cycle. They create their own cycle patterns. You'll see it a lot of times where someone's late for rent, they're working their butt off, they don't have the money, and all of a sudden this gear kicks in, and they'll do something, extra on the side, or they'll get it and they'll pay it off. But they don't have to stay in that cycle. They can create their own reality and do other things that they really love doing, so they don't have to get stuck in that. That's why I love teaching people.
You're bringing up points that, and some of the things that I'm thinking about. There was a song, "Live Now, Pay Later," and that seems to be the American way. If you make $100 a week, you spend 120, and you put a 20 on the credit card. And yes, you were happy for that moment, but now you're $20 in debt. So it just keeps getting. For some people who don't know how to pay their cards off in a good amount of time, it starts to get further and further and further into debt until at some point they got to claim bankruptcy, and then who wins? Nobody really.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody that person owed ends up with losing all the money that they lent out, and then the person that had to claim the bankruptcy has to start all over again. So it's interesting with the pay now, the live now, pay later mentality that you kind of brought to mind. For some reason, when you were talking, it struck a chord with me. I don't know. I have bought things on credit. Most people do. If you have a house, you buy it on credit. If you have a car, you buy it on credit. Even if you get a refrigerator, sometimes you don't have the $800 or $1,000 to do it right now, so you buy it on a smaller credit. No interest if you pay it off in 6 months. That's such a good draw. But then are they betting that some of those people cannot pay that off in 6 months? Is that a possibility? Could they be that nefarious? And I was thinking about people that are nefarious when you were talking about the other things. When you were talking about oh my goodness, you were talking about something where I lost my train of thought a little bit, but you definitely were talking about something, and I thought, could people be that nefarious where they would want to harm people? Oh, things that don't last that long, that last only a little bit of time, and what's built in. Well, you made me think about cell phones. They're made, and everybody wants one. Oh my goodness, that's wonderful. But then they don't last. Maybe they'll last 2 or 3 years, if that.
You're gonna crack up. This is hilarious.
Go ahead.
So what you're also talking about is, and this is what I teach people, how do you manifest your own reality? How can you think about things, speak about, how can you make it true to your reality? And I've done this before. This is not the funny part yet. You're gonna laugh so hard. I love this stuff. But one of the things that I learned without knowing I did it was I manifest cars all the time. And I was in high school, and I would pass this truck on the way to high school. And someone I went to high school with, we were driving together, and they said, well, every time you pass it, use the law of attraction, say it's your car. I actually forget who that was. So every time I pass it, I said, that's my truck. That's my truck. That's my truck. So my dad, thankfully, I'm very grateful, bought me my truck, bought the same one. Then as I came home from Florida, August 2018, I think it was, I was sitting in the car with my friend, and I told him I had a Dodge Durango, 2-wheel drive, can't drive in the snow, no rust though, high miles. And I looked at him and I said with confidence, and I did not know what I was doing, by the way. I said, his name is Louis. Louis, I'm going to sell that car for more money than I bought it for. Now that car had over, I think, 190,000 miles on it, and I bought it for $1,500. I had to fix the windows, and I put a lot of energy into it. Car ran great. And then I said in the same sentence, without even knowing where the car was yet. I said, I personally like the Volkswagen Cabrios. That's what I bought. But I said, I'm going to go find the Volkswagen Cabrio. I'm going to buy it for less than they're asking for. And he said, Joe, you're crazy. No one's going to buy that car here, even though there's no rust on it. So what happened? I sold that car for more money than I bought it for. And then I continued looking, and I found the car that I told them I was going to find, and I bought it for less than they were asking for. So I manifested. Now, to go back to what you're saying is, people are living in these small moments of little things that they really want. So a cell phone, perfect example. They get so excited, they want this, and now their energy is so vibrating that they're like, I want this, I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. They don't even know how they're going to get it yet, but then they get it. And it's a temporary thing, and a couple of years go by, it's outdated. So people are spending these little moments without even realizing, manifesting material stuff, which is cool, no problem. I did it with cars. And they're not even realizing that they're doing it. They have the power to do this. And they get the phone. So KeysDAN, here's the funny part. I went to California, right? Lots of fast food franchises there. Some of them are in New York. One of them is my favorite, is Krispy Kreme's. Now, I went to the first time I was in California. I've been to Krispy Kreme before in South Carolina and other places, but I was now in California. And then, I don't know, it's probably 9 o'clock at night. KeysDAN, the drive-through line for Krispy Kreme was amazing. People were waiting in that line. You should have seen the line of cars. People will wait longer for Krispy Kreme, and they'll figure out a way to get it, but they can't figure out how to fix their problems in life. and I kid you not, I'm in this line, and this guy looks like he's going to cut the line of cars. I'm like, whoa. He's like, no, I'm just going to park my car. We're like, okay, cool. He gets out of his car during COVID, goes up to the door, comes back with a bag, and leaves. He didn't have to wait in line, and he figured out a plan to do it. And I was like, this is amazing. People have a better relationship with Krispy Kreme than their own relationship with their spouse. Like, they're dedicated to getting this Krispy Kreme. So why can't we figure out how to do this in our life problems? Like, how can we redirect this to all right, I want to get this money. Let's pretend it's Krispy Kreme. And I want to work my way towards it. We can figure out plans if we really want it. So we just have to let go of this thought of sadness, lack of manifesting abilities, lack of self-love. That's what's really holding us back. The lack of imagination, determination, and I'm going to get this type of thing.
Joseph LaCastro,
manifest their phones.
You're talking about things I've heard on different podcasts. Whenever I hear creatives, putting things out into the universe, putting those thoughts out into the universe, and do they manifest? Is that something that you believe can actually happen? Because so many people do believe that happens. Hey, I want to be a rock star, and then you don't just become a rock star. You have to put the work in, the effort, but you manifest that from a time when you're young. How am I going to do it? But does putting that thought out into the universe, do you believe that helps?
So here's I want to explain this real quick. I absolutely do. If I can do it with cars, I've done it with different things. Even California. So I'm going to go to California. I didn't put a date on it. Did it with cars. I've done it with money too. But my point is this. We also have to be realistic on the manifesting size and time frame. We also have to speak it with confidence, and we have to speak it as an affirmation. So with the car, or with cars that I've done, that's my truck. I told my friend, without even knowing I was manifesting, I didn't even learn about it yet, said, I'm going to sell this car for more money than I bought it for, and I'm going to buy this car I haven't found. So yeah, is it real? Absolutely. But the difference is this. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, and I don't want your listeners to take me the wrong way. I'm not coming from an egotistical standpoint, because the reason why I want to do this is because I want to help more people. I want to reach more people. I want to have more. I want to experience life, but I also want to, donate money. But I do want fame. I do want to reach that level. And so what I do is I say, I am famous. And I keep feeling and believing it every day, that every time I put work into my work, my energy is a currency. I'm putting it into my work. So therefore it's a part of that manifesting dream. And so, yeah, is it possible? For sure. But we have to be realistic and go, okay, a car can happen in a month. a bigger manifestation will take more time. That's why like people are athletes, celebrities. You have to actually go into their story. Elvis, love Elvis. Mm-hmm. I actually love Elvis more since I checked his house out in Memphis on the way to California. But he went through so much and experienced so much, and he kept pursuing his dream. And actually, one of my favorite songs is "If I Can Dream," and he actually talks about manifesting. If I can dream a life and create my true realities, and he can manifest it, why can't I dream a life of unity with everyone in the world? That's what he's basically saying. So we have to be realistic on our goal. If it's a bigger goal, we have to feed it energy and every day. We have to put actions towards it. So like my car, I still had to put action to it. I still had to sell it. I still had to sell it with the belief of selling it for more money than I bought it for. I still had to believe in all that. And the same thing with the bigger dream. I still have to believe that I'm doing it. And a lot of people are going to, of course, oh, you're never going to make it. They're going to talk down to you. That's a part of the dream and the reality. You have to overcome that talk. KeysDAN, I watch you do your thing all the time. You're doing numerous things. You know what I noticed? You believe in yourself and you're having fun with it. You love doing this. That's the difference. And you can tell, here's another fun part. Intentional energy. You got me going now.
Go.
When I was working at that place that I did the podcast with you, it was called Laura's.
Okay.
And I had fun with it. Intentional energy is really important. What your thoughts, your feelings when you're doing something. And so I ran out of coleslaw. I think I told you this in the podcast. I ran out of coleslaw, but I had enough dressing to do that one dish I had. And the KeysDAN, there was no one in the kitchen with me. And I put my glove on. I cut the cabbage up, mixed it up. Right. As I'm mixing it, I said out loud, no one was in the kitchen. You're going to love this coleslaw. You're going to want the recipe. It's so good. And I had fun with it. I was smiling. And I kid you not, KeysDAN, the waitress came back with the empty cup and I actually forgot about it. I said, what's going on? What's up? She goes, they want to know what the recipe is for coleslaw. So good. And I'm going, get out of here.
That's just what you were thinking to yourself, man. That's great.
So we really, we can manifest anything we want, but we have to put belief, determination. Some people get frustrated because it's not happening in 3 days or didn't happen yet. I want fame, but at the same time, I have to keep going. The universe is going to provide me at the right time, the right place. And I'm also human. So there's life and emotions. But that's a big topic. I definitely believe in that.
Well, I think your friend, maybe Candace Barsotti, she's out there putting out different little comments on the Facebook feed there. Low vibes will weaken the immune system. You have to think it and put it into action. Believe it. It is yours, and it is. Mm-hmm. And then the last thing she just wrote was manifestations require forward actions. So yeah, there's people in agreement. How about that? I feel like most people are if you can just have a chat with somebody, you're going to gain some knowledge. You're going to figure out that people are wanting the same things, man. And I'm glad that you found another spot. You had to move away from the beautiful ocean of Laguna Beach, but now you're in New York, man, where it all happens. The city that never sleeps.
Yeah, man, I'm going with the flow. And a lot of people, I don't know if you're in a rush or anything. I don't know what your time frame is. I could talk to you the whole episode if you want, because I'm excited.
Oh, I know, man. We could talk forever and ever. What's funny is I have an interview. Somebody's interviewing me in about a half an hour for the Nashville Entertainment Weekly. They've been, there's they have a lot of artists that work with them, or they work with a lot of artists, and they've been taking over my Radio What Facebook page and just playing some shows. Once again, these are creatives that are finding different avenues to get their creative juices flowing, man. They can't go out to a club like in New York and go play for hundreds and hundreds of people because of social distancing. So now they have to figure out other ways to keep their dreams going. And I know a lot of creatives say, "Oh, I don't do it for the money," but you have to live, So they'll put themselves out there and put a Venmo up or a PayPal, and people will tip them, and hopefully that helps them keep going. So yeah, I have an interview coming up. Somebody's interviewing me.
That's what's up.
That hardly ever happens. Mostly I'm the guy on this side of the microphone. But yeah,
that's
man.
What happened when you messaged me for the podcast. I was like, oh my God, someone wants to put me on their podcast. And I actually had a great time on your podcast. But
dude,
I'm happy for you. That's awesome.
Man,
the other thing about that too is a lot of people think that life, in order to be the end result, we're talking about manifesting. In order to have this end result, it has to be A plus B equals C. But the truth is, like, okay, COVID happened. You can't play at certain places, like you said. So they're working on ways to reach out to new networks. But the truth be told is, like, okay, well, this is actually no coincidence. It's another way of reaching the person you need to reach that will bring you to the next level. So it's just a way of not giving up on your dream and continuing the life path that is still available. That it's not always going to be the traditional story. You know, that's what I'm basically saying.
Yeah. So what part of New York did you end up in?
I'm from Marlboro, New York. This is my hometown. This is where I'm in. I went to Rialto, California. That's where I was staying for a while. Yeah. But what I actually want to talk to you about was, I'm just going with the flow. And that's what I would love for everyone to start doing. I think a lot of people want to start buying houses, have kids, settle down. They have this dream in their head, which is, there's no problem with that, but they forget to live life. And that's what I've been doing. And honestly, it's brought me to new pathways now. I finally met someone, awesome individual, love her. Well, love is too early. I like her a lot.
He said it. It's manifest. It's out in the universe.
But she's a great person. But in order to find what we really want, one, we have to love ourselves. We have to go with the flow. We have to be happy. We have to let go of all these fears, worries, doubts. Trust the process. So I trusted the process. I went to California. Don't get me wrong. I thought in my head that California would bring me to the next level. Maybe it did. Mm-hmm. But I came back home. But I'm just trusting the process. Going with the flow is so important. And again, with the political stuff, not in a negative way, but we still have to be able to create our own reality, let go of the fears, pursue our dreams. So I'm proud of you, KeysDAN. You're doing it. You're doing the thing.
Man, I'm just putting it out there. I mean, I do this KeysDAN show, but then I do the What Makes You Smarter just to make myself smarter. And while I'm reading some stuff in the news, I'll put it out there for other people. So I do that daily. And then the What Makes You Famous podcast, where I talk to other people, that's purely selfish, man. I want to learn things. I want to pick brains. I want to learn what makes you tick. So it might be purely selfish, but since I have this good recording software and I can put it, I have the ability to put it out there to the world. Hey, might as well promote somebody while I'm at it. So that's a beautiful thing, man. But are you planning on putting up a shingle, or are you still going to be doing the online medium work?
I do both. And here's what's happening recently, though. And this is something that I've been thinking about. You know how comedians, they'll go on tour, they do their thing, and then they take a break. They live their life. They're not on tour anymore. And all of a sudden they come out with another tour. They're living their life. In order to come up with material, they still have to live their life. And within their life, they come up with new jokes or new ways to tell a story. Excuse me. So I've been actually frustrated, to be honest with you, because I haven't been doing as many Facebook Lives as I normally would. And my spirit guides were like, look, it's not the time right now. And I'll talk about different topics, but I'm not doing as many psychic readings, which is not something I'm shy of. This is more so spirit's like, no, it's not time. And the reason I came up with this understanding was that there's a time and a place for everything. I think a lot of people get frustrated too, especially myself. I was like, all right, why am I not feeling this? Why am I not feeling what's up? And so we have to live our life too. So yeah, I'm working with my dad. I still do the spiritual stuff little by little, but I'm going to get back to more readings when the flow is feeling, and when it's right.
Yeah, you have other talents, man. You're a cabinet maker and you're a chef. So you have other avenues to explore to keep your livelihood going. The spiritual thing, man, I feel like it's like any other, like a superhero, a superpower. If you use it too much, man, it could make you exhausted. I don't want to. Yeah.
Actually, when I started it, I took off running because I got excited. I was upset with at the time in 2018, I was depressed, going through some stuff. I didn't want to be a chef anymore. Time. I was like, what do I want to do next? And I was trusting the process, but I kept questioning, where's my happiness? And I was always spiritual, and it just clicked one day. I was actually making that podcast, and I had no idea why. I had no idea why. And then I realized that I was on this journey, and so I did it. And I took off running, and I got tired of it. I was like, I don't want to get tired of doing this now. And I had to learn how to balance life. We have to, because if we don't, we can do one thing. We love it. We could do it. It will burn us out. And that's why you have to have this balance. I do other things too. I'll make spiritual necklaces for people. This is a part of, Santeria is the Orishas, but Egun is the spiritual guides and the ancestors. But there's things about the Muertero or Spiritisto. There's things and reasons why we wear or we make what we make. So I make spiritual necklaces for people. So I do that too. But do I do it every day? No. I do it with the flow. Well, how am I feeling today? But the other thing about this too is it's very nice to use the superhero thing. That's cool, but I'm still human. And what people don't understand, and what I teach them when I'm doing live readings, is you have to be careful with your energy. It's so important. Without even realizing it, you can go into your job, a bunch of other employees there, and you can take on their energy, and you can come home miserable, but you think it's you. It's not. Even with me doing readings, I still have to do water, candle. I still have to protect myself. It's not that people are bad. It's that they might be carrying an energy that I'm helping them with that they don't realize. And instead of me clinging onto it, it's getting collected and I'm protected. So we got to be cautious of energy. We have to be cautious of our thoughts. Because if we're thinking about a person and worrying about them or getting angry with them, we're sending energy that way. When people are afraid of losing a relationship and they get panicked and they worry and they actually create a reality. So, I mean, I'm teaching people that too, because I'm also human. I'm living life, even though I'm a psychic intuitive, I'm still working on my credit score right now. So if I was really like super gifted, I'd have the lottery numbers and I live life and I wouldn't have to help people, which wouldn't be fun. You know,
it doesn't work that way, man. It's not there. That gift is not there to give you advantage. It's for you to help other people. I fully believe that, man. When somebody gets a gift like that, it's to help other people, not to help themselves so much. You know, maybe they'll make a couple bucks off a reading here and there, but no, I feel like if there is any truth to that, and man, I can't discount it. I can't say that there is or isn't any truth to it, because I grew up with it as well. I know we talked about this in great depth in our podcast. I'm from Miami. I'm from Cuban parents, and Santeria was definitely a through line in my upbringing. So it was out there, the spiritualism and going to seances and trying to figure out that kind of thing. And here I am, a little kid going, what are we doing here? I don't know. What are we doing? But learning some things along the way. But have
you felt like any callings to it or anything? Have you felt like I'm not pushing you to do anything. I'm just curious. No. Have you felt like the pull to do something, but you're not sure what it is?
Man, I don't know what to believe. So sometimes, when people would get a new house in Miami, either my aunt or my grandma would go and smoke cigars through the house and do some chants. And I thought, well, it can't hurt. Go do it. Right. You know, is it helping? I don't know. I don't know. Nobody could say for sure, because we don't have that full, well, I don't have, you might have a little more intuitiveness on that, but I don't have that ability to see the other side and whatnot. But, oh my goodness.
Someone actually just asked me, I don't really get this request often. Yeah. And this is, if any of your listeners want to check this out, go for it. But someone asked me to clean their house for them. And, I felt the energy, and I felt the energy from being home in a text message, and I'm going, she doesn't really need a house cleansing. All she needs to do is this little simple cleansing. Because what happens is the simple ones, a lot of people think sage is the go-to, that's it, done. It really depends on the level of energy, and sage isn't always going to do that. So one of the biggest things you can actually do is kick a coconut around all over the floor, in the bathroom, in the bedrooms, every floor. You're starting from the top floor, the bottom floor, and then you wind up kicking it outside to the main road, and you pick it up and you smash it, and then you cleanse yourself before you go inside. You don't want to bring it inside with you. It's simple, and that's why I told her, I was like, this is all you have to do. I felt bad. It's not always about money. You don't, I couldn't even do it for her because she really has to be the one to do it. Not because I don't want to do it. It's more so your energy and what you're doing and how you're feeling will make a better role, if you will. And so there's times where I don't really have to do that. I just feel it out. Some people take the opportunity. They're like, sure, I could do it. Just pay me. I don't like that, but it's each his own. But she did tell me though that someone told her to do this before, but they wound up burying the coconut, which is not something you should do because now you're collecting the energy. Now you're burying it. Now it's not. You're putting it further down, and it's not going to help the house. You're actually putting it further down. So don't do that. But I don't really have to be a part of that. But cigar smoke, yeah, absolutely, it does do that. Ammonia is a big one too. Negative spirits don't like ammonia at all. If it's really a haunted place.
Man, you're giving people gems. You're giving them too much, man. Yeah, but no, I see that that's part of you being a helper. No matter what, you want to help people, and you might be losing money by giving all these free bits of advice to people. But I see that as you're just trying to help people, man. And if people want to throw some money your way, do it, man. That's the way you live. Now, you were talking about experiences a little bit, and I know that I have to wind this down so I can get to my interview. But you're talking about the experience of you going to California and then back to New York. And I remember the song "Sunscreen" that came out, and it was Bousman. No, the song was "Sunscreen." He says, "Live in California, but get out before it makes you too soft. Live in New York, but get out before it makes you too hard." So
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, everybody's free to wear sunscreen. Baz Luhrmann, that's it, Baz Luhrmann. And it was like a commencement speech for some college that he did, and then somebody put it to music because it was such a good speech, and it really was, man. He was kind of meandering through different ideas, but that was the one that stuck out in my head. And I remember, I lived in Miami, which was kind of fast paced, hustle and bustle, but then I lived in the Florida Keys, which was kind of slow, easy, so, and then here I am in Conway, Arkansas, somewhere in the middle, which is probably better, but I do miss the Keys. I miss the ocean, and I miss Miami. I miss the hustle and bustle, being in the clubs and DJing for thousands and thousands of people, just sweating and having a good time because I'm playing the music and I'm getting the energy from them. And you're talking about energy flowing from the people that are dancing and having a good time to the DJ that's playing the music or the band that's playing the music, back and forth, energy just going through. And I know when we break out of this coronavirus thing, you'll be in New York, maybe at a club, maybe providing some of that energy yourself, possibly. I don't know. New York, the city that never sleeps, man. You're going to be there. You're going to be doing it. But
I'm doing it. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. I love doing. You have no idea. Love talking about stuff.
Yeah.
I love the energy.
Joseph Locastro, I know that you're not doing the reading so much right now, but give the people your social media so they can line up and form a single file as you're ready to take more clients in. How do they find you?
I'm taking clients privately. It's more so that just the Facebook Lives that kind of slowed down on recently, but you can find me on Facebook. Just put A Millennial's Third Eye, and you'll find the page. I do have podcasts too, which you've been on, KeysDAN, so you can put that on Google. It's on a bunch of different platforms now, but mainly on Blog Talk Radio. You can find it on iTunes podcast. But yeah, A Millennial's Third Eye.
All right, Joseph Locastro. Man, thanks for hanging out with me, man. I never know what I'm going to get when I do these weekly KeysDAN shows, doing the lives. But I know you've caught me doing the gaming. I don't know, when I'm winding down, I'm doing gaming too, man. I'm just putting content out there, having a good time, man. Just smiling and chatting with people and learning some stuff. And mostly when I do the gaming, it's me failing miserably. I play Fortnite, and mostly I picked up a couple of weapons, and then a storm came and killed me. All right. That took about 5 minutes.
I play some PlayStation. I'm actually waiting for my PlayStation to come back from California, but I don't play Fortnite. But I think it's awesome you're doing that because you're showing people you're being your authentic self.
You could have
playing
fun.
games. You're doing what makes you famous. You're doing everything.
Well, that's the one I like the most, is the what makes you famous. If I don't have somebody to talk to, such as yourself, then, hey, I'll find something else to do. I'll do a what makes you smarter, where I'll read the news or something, or I'll play some games, but the what makes you famous, the one where I get to talk to people, that's my love. That's the one I like the most, where I get to promote people, man. And I will. All right, my man, let's get off of this thing.
You're actually making people famous. What makes you famous, and what happens? They're going to be famous, and they're going to be like, I was on the KeysDAN show.
All right, Mr. Man. Joseph Locastro. I'll talk to you a little bit later, man.
All right. Thank you, man. It was a great pleasure to be on the show with you.
Bye. All right, man. Joseph Locastro. Look him up. And I saw Candace Barsotti. She's making all kinds of comments. And she's she shared this live on her page. So, hey, thank you so much for that. And thank you for the people that put up with me as I'm doing these live podcasts, these live weekly shows. Actually, I do shows daily, but on different iterations. The What Makes You Smarter is almost every day. What Makes You Famous is about 3 days a week. And use the hashtag What Makes You Smarter. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And then the KeysDAN show, that's my weekly show. Hashtag KeysDAN show. And you'll find them all out there as podcasts. Now the gaming thing, hey, that's just like bonus. If you want to follow me on YouTube or twitch.tv/KeysDAN, you could find all my gaming stuff where I run a mech warrior into a wall or a car if I'm racing, or maybe I'll play some Galaga or some pinball. Who knows? And, I'm enjoying myself. I'm having a good time. That's pretty much what we're supposed to be doing here. Don't work yourself to death, but, make sure that you make some time to have some fun. All right. I need to wind down a little bit and get myself in a proper state of mind so I can go get interviewed by the Nashville Network News, Nashville Network Weekly. No, Nashville, man, I'll get it right eventually. You'll see it shared on my page, Nashville Entertainment Weekly. They're the people that have been taking over my Radio What Facebook page. There's quite a few artists out there. I've been impressed by the people that have been taking over my page, playing some songs, playing some covers here and there, but mostly playing some originals. What? All right. I'm stoked about that. All right. Let me get off of this thing. This is the KeysDAN show. I do this weekly, record them 6 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on my Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, twitch.tv/KeysDAN, YouTube, youtube.com/user/KeysDAN. I know if that's too much, just look up radiowhat.com on your YouTube. Yeah. All right, that's it for me. It's KeysDAN, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.